Well, it looks like the First Amendment has won again. The law fought the First Amendment and the law lost. Despite the judge in this case, because if she had it her way, Ank's audits, he'd be in jail simply for freedom of expression. Please go over to his channel, show some support, and tell him thank you for standing up for not only his rights, but yours and mine.
Hey there, Deputy Homer with the Sheriff's Office. Reason for the stop is the blue license plate lights.
Oh.
Yeah, they have to be white, man.
What?
So, do you have your license, registration, proof, insurance? Do you have a more current insurance? This one expired in October.
Oh shit, okay. Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, okay. Yeah, we changed insurance. Okay.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Oh, we changed insurance back there.
Okay.
So then they have.
So I'll give you this one back too. That one's expired, but this one's good. All right, here's a warning for the license plate lights. Okay, drive safe. Beautiful William license plate light color. We traffic with another vehicle here. Burger King, stand by for me. It's going to be Montana 138399 Robert.
21 ski.
Hey there. Yep. Deputy Homer with the Sheriff's Office. Reason for the stop is the disorderly conduct. So, do you guys both have your driver's license, registration, insurance?
So, where are you pulling over for?
So, disorderly conduct and obstructing a peace officer.
So, my freedom of speech?
So, you yelling out the window, flipping me off, is distracting me from my job and hindering my investigation that I was roadside with.
No.
Okay. Well, that's
Obstruction is a physical
so
act.
Do you have your license, registration, proof of insurance?
Yes, I have everything.
Okay, can I have that?
I would need a lawful reason for the stop.
Disorderly conduct and obstructing a peace officer.
That's
You can hand me your license.
obstruction is a
Right
physical
now you're
act.
obstructing me again. So, do you have your driver's license, registration, and insurance?
Yes.
60128. Can you send me another unit? What's that? A supervisor? Good. Negative, but can you get 33 head this way as well? Good.
You know you're going to lose your qualified immunity for this.
That's fine.
And I would take you to court.
That's fine. So you should read up on the disorderly conduct law.
I have all my information right here.
And I will be giving it to your supervisor when he shows up.
You can hand me your driver's license, registration, and proof of insurance, as well as the passenger, please. You are requested by law to do so.
I have it right here.
A lawful command to give me your driver's license, registration, and proof of insurance, as well as your passenger.
Passengers don't have to ID.
Yes, they do. Because
That's
you
a
have
violation of the Fourth
investigation
Amendment.
And the disorderly conduct.
There was no disorderly conduct. That's freedom of speech.
Okay, sir, I'm going to give you one chance.
I'm going to ask for your
So I'm gonna ask for
supervisor.
your driver's license one more time. If you fail to identify yourself. Okay, I'd like to have it.
I have to present it. I don't have to give it to you. I have to present it.
And I'm asking for your registration and insurance.
Right here.
Okay. I can't read it through the window.
You know you're going to lose your qualified immunity for this.
Okay, that's fine, sir. I don't really care about that right now.
Yeah, because it's the taxpayers that pay for the lawsuit that you caused. I know.
Okay. And do you have your license?
It's in the back seat.
Okay. What's your name?
I plead the fifth, sir. Sorry, I'm
Okay, you are required to identify
invoking
yourself
my
because
right.
What I saw on my traffic stop was you flipping me off. And yelling
First
out the window.
Amendment
I don't know who
protected
yelled, I
speech.
don't know who flipped me off.
First Amendment protected speech.
Okay, so, sir, please educate yourself on disorderly conduct before you start spouting it. Okay?
You
Please
can't
shine
make a
your
law
light off my
against
face,
any
my
of
eyes.
my constitutional
I need
rights.
your name and contact information.
Can you guys get the lights off my eyes? I have a migraine
It
and
is
I'm
not on
doing.
your eyes.
It's right in my eyelight.
Okay, what is your name? Right now you are obstructing. And I'm just going to let you know now.
Ruth.
Ruth?
But I refuse to give you my last name.
All right, what's your last name, Ruth?
I just told you I refuse to give it to you because.
Okay.
You're not here.
Guys, I'm not playing this game over and over with you, okay? I'm telling you you're obstructing me because you committed disorderly conduct.
Instruction is you don't know what disorderly is. Those are first
I'm
person.
not arguing with you, sir. I'm done with you for right now.
All right,
I'm just
so-
talking to her.
I did nothing wrong.
So, Ruth, what's your last name?
I've done nothing wrong.
Hey.
What is your last name?
First Amendment protected speech. That's what this is.
What is your last name? If you fail to identify yourself to me, you will go to
Pat?
jail tonight.
You could get one too. First Amendment protected
It's
free
neither.
speech.
How do you spell that?
Free speech. First Amendment.
Okay, the lights, please. Please, I can't.
First
It
Amendment.
doesn't bug me.
No,
That's what you pulled
have
me
a
over for.
concussion.
Okay. And I'm not shining my light at you.
Where's your supervisor?
I don't know, man. He's on his way. I called.
E-N-S-M-I-N-G-E-R.
You're going to have to go slower. I'm sorry. I can't write that fast.
E-N as Nancy, M as Mary. No, E-N-S-M-I-N-G-E-R.
And what's your date of birth, Ruth?
You can look it up by looking up my name, sir. Seriously, I've only lived here for so long.
So what is your date of birth?
June 9th,
Of what year?
93.
All right. Give me 1 minute, guys.
For allegedly violating Mass Code 45-8-101 disorderly conduct and 45-7-302 obstructing a peace officer. Do you understand those charges?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna go over your rights with you. You were both given a copy of your rights. These being misdemeanors, you have at least 24 hours in which to enter a plea. If you do not want to enter a plea today, the court will reschedule you to appear at a later date. If you do enter a plea, it must be guilty or not guilty. If you plead not guilty, you have the right to a speedy trial. You have the right to have a trial by jury. You may waive your right to a trial by jury and have a trial before this judge, which is known as a bench trial. If you plead not guilty, you will be given the date and time for a pretrial hearing. During the pretrial hearing, you will be given instructions on how the trial will be conducted and the deadlines for filing motions and exchanging information. You have the right to have an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, one may be appointed for you under certain circumstances. Specifically, there must be a strong likelihood of jail. If you request the services of the Public Defender's Office and you are awarded their services, I'm advising you that if you were convicted in a non-jury trial, you could be assessed a $250 public defender fee. If you were convicted after a jury trial, you could be assessed the actual cost of your public defender. You have the right to retain your own attorneys, and of course you have the right to represent yourselves. I'm advising you that there are dangers in self-representation and not being represented by an attorney. You have the right to remain silent and not offer incriminating evidence against yourselves. If you do speak, anything you say can be used as evidence against you at a trial. If you are not a citizen of the United States, you could be deported after a conviction. If we go to trial with or without a jury, you have the right to face and question any witnesses that may be called against you. You have the right to call witnesses to testify on your behalf. If you go to trial and you were convicted, you may be assessed the cost of the trial. You have the right to expect that the state must prove the charges against you. If you plead not guilty and at some point you enter into a plea bargain with the prosecutor's office, this court is not bound by that agreement. You have the right to have bail set and to know pre-trial release procedures pending the final outcome of the case. If you plead guilty today, you will waive your right to appeal the case to district court. Do either of you have any questions?
No.
Okay. Disorderly conduct is punishable by up to a $185 fine and up to 10 days in jail. Obstructing a peace officer is up to $500 and up to 6 months in jail. Okay? Mr. Fulton, are you going to represent yourself, retain your own attorney, or request a public defender?
Going to be requesting a public defender.
Okay. So to the offenses occurring on or about April 26th of 24 in Ravala County, Montana, how do you plead?
I'm going to plead not guilty.
Okay.
I have a couple of questions.
Okay, let me enter those not guilty pleas first and give you your omnibus date so you know what it is. And then if it's not directed at the facts of the case, I can answer questions for you, okay?
Okay.
All right, the omnibus hearing will be set for June 20th at 1:30 in the afternoon. That is the one and only time that you are not required to be here. Your attorney will take care of that first hearing for you. I'll give you an application for their services so that they can begin working on your case for you. Now, what questions did you have?
I was wondering if I could know who the victim of this disorderly conduct was?
Probably the law enforcement officer, it appears like.
Your Honor, the First Amendment guarantees the right to freedom of speech and prohibits the state from punishing the use of words or language not within the narrowly limited exceptions that have been carved out, namely true threats that incite or defame, fighting words, obscenity. Even in these classes, the line between speech which may be freely spoken and that which may be regulated is finely drawn. In every case where speech is being prescribed, it must not unduly infringe upon the protected freedom. This means that the disorderly conduct statute can only punish unprotected speech that falls within these few limited categories and no more. The First Amendment is a living, breathing thing which needs that breathing room to survive, and the government may only regulate speech within the narrow exceptions. The state in its charging documents are alleging that Mr. Fulton committed the offense of disorderly conduct by allegedly yelling the F word out of the window at officers. The evidence in the record now reflects that Mr. Fulton may not have even been the suspect who yelled the swear word, despite the state's assertion in their answer that it was definitively Mr. Fulton. The conduct being criminalized is pure speech, which is staunchly protected by the First Amendment. We will hear evidence today that indicates someone used the word Your Honor, pardon, but fuck, spoken into the void of the universe from a private vehicle. This expression is constitutionally protected speech because they are not fighting words, true threats, or incitement. Fighting words are words that are personally abusive epithets which, when addressed to ordinary citizens, are as a matter of common knowledge likely to provoke violent response. So there was no particularized suspicion that a crime had been committed here because there were no fighting words. The missing piece of the puzzle here is that whoever yelled the profanity did not address the expletives towards anyone in particular, and shouted into the universe. Deputy Helmer was not in close proximity. The car did not pull up alongside the traffic stop or make efforts to direct such speech at him. By these very conditions, the words spoken by someone in the vehicle do not fall within the realm of fighting words. The word was not directed at any one person and was a singular expression. This makes the statute as applied to Mr. Fulton today unconstitutional.
And so, to the matter at hand, were you on duty on April 26, 2024?
I was.
And did you encounter the defendant on that day?
I did.
And did you see the person that you encountered in this room?
I do.
When did you first encounter the defendant?
It was on a traffic stop.
Okay, tell me a little bit about it.
I was on a traffic stop with 3 juveniles for a separate offense while I was looking at their driving documents. The defendant had driven by and yelled. When I heard the F word, and then it was kind of incoherent as they were driving by. As I looked around, they were flipping me off.
All right, here's a warning for the license plate lights. Okay, drive safe.
I ended that traffic stop and initiated the traffic stop with the defendant.
And when you say you heard the F word, was it a distinctly male voice, distinctly female, hard to tell?
It was a male voice.
And
First
yelling out the window,
Amendment
"I don't know who
protected
yelled, I
speech."
don't know who flipped me off.
So what was going through your head at this point?
Well, I knew that I clearly heard the profanity, especially with the 3 juveniles I was out with. I didn't believe it was okay.
Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit.
So I did end that traffic stop to then go after the more egregious violation.
So we're gonna go back through this. Deputy Helmer, do you mind pointing out for me, the defendant's vehicle as you see it go by?
Do you want me to stand up for it?
Yeah. As long as you're not blocking your view.
So you'll see right in this area here. Right there is where he said it, and then you can see the hand of the passenger flipping me off.
And so just to reiterate, there's a lot of car noise in this video.
Yes.
Were you able to clearly and distinctly hear the defendant yelling
Yes, and
the F word?
if you review the video, two of the passengers also snapped their head towards that vehicle.
So then what happened from this point?
I handed back the driving documents and initiated a traffic stop with the defendant.
And did the defendant make any admissions during the course of the traffic stop?
Yes, he requested a supervisor, so Corporal Mihalik showed up and he told Corporal Mihalik that he yelled, "Fuck the police."
Your Honor, I would object to any further questioning about what occurred after the stop. The suppression is about the stop itself, the initial stop, whether there was cause to stop.
No, you can continue. Overruled.
And did you have a chance to review this video prior to today?
Yes.
And to the best of your knowledge, is it a true and accurate representation of the events of the day?
Yes.
Judge, the state moves to admit State's Exhibit 2.
I would again object, given the basis of this hearing is the suppression motion, Your Honor.
well, we can end it here. They have grounds to make a stop. Do you want to continue or not continue?
Your Honor, they're welcome to continue. I was just noting my objection.
Okay, we can continue.
This officer pulled me over because I said, fuck the police, and I took him off.
Okay.
My First Amendment protected.
I have no further questions, Judge.
And as law enforcement, how often do you hear swearing?
While I'm on traffic with roadside with a vehicle, very rarely.
Okay, do you cite everyone who swears in your presence?
I do speak to them if they're gonna be swearing in front of children.
Oh, shit.
Okay, but you didn't cite the Mustang driver for his use of profanity?
No, I did not.
But you would admit then that not all use of swear words is disorderly?
Yes.
Okay. And do you think it would be fair to assume that an average citizen would expect an officer not to abandon his duties and his criminal investigations over something as insignificant as a swear word?
I think it all comes down to circumstantial. I can't say it for every time.
Okay. And do you understand the protections of the First Amendment?
I do.
Okay. And are you aware that fighting words have to constitute a true threat for words to constitute fighting words?
So under the disorderly conduct, it doesn't, I wasn't going under that part of that statute. It was the profane language.
Okay. And so are you aware that profane language is protected speech under the First Amendment?
Yes, no.
Okay. All right, so again, I'll just reiterate that fighting words have to constitute a true threat. So knowing that, do you think that profanity is protected speech?
Again, it's circumstantial.
Okay.
Just objection, Judge, just because there's some, he's already clarified that he wasn't cited under the fighting words statute, it was the obscenity, or the profanity, excuse me.
You can continue.
And would you agree that conduct can constitute speech?
Can you explain that?
Like nonverbal communication?
Yes.
Okay. And are you aware that conduct can be protected under the First Amendment as well? If
Yes.
it constitutes speech? All right. Did at any point you want to fight Kenneth or Ruth because of their words?
No.
Okay. And have you ever experienced as an officer where you've overheard someone say the word fuck and no one has fought them?
And no one has fought them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it pretty unusual that someone may over the word fuck would just get into a fight over that?
No. I wouldn't say it's unusual. I've seen it.
Okay. Tell me about that. Tell me about when you've seen that.
Bar fights, stuff like that, yeah. I don't have something definitive to give you off the top of my head.
Okay. And do you think that the F word that you heard was meant to convey any kind of threat of violence against you?
I can't say for certain. Again, traffic stops are one of a dangerous part of my job. Those that just start screaming at me out the window could mean a whole bunch of different things.
Okay. Do you think that there was imminent danger to you with this car passing by?
I don't know at the time of stop.
Okay. Again, I just want to reiterate that you voluntarily chose to end your investigation into a violation of law to pursue someone who used the F word.
Another violation of law, yes.
Okay. No further questions, Your Honor.
Posey. Yes, Judge, I just would like to clarify a few points. Ms. Berry made some points about the fighting words, but just to clear up, that Deputy Helmer made a clear point that he was cited, that Mr. Fulton was cited under the profanity portion of the statute, not fighting. So making the argument a bit frivolous. Also, she focused quite a bit on his decision to leave the current traffic stop to pursue another one. But that's police discretion, that he can absolutely make the choice based on being on the ground of what is the more pressing matter. And again, there was the mention of imminent danger. None of that is part of the statute. It is just did they knowingly disturb the peace by shouting profanity?
Ms. Berry?
Thank you, Your Honor. So the state has correctly assessed that he was cited under the profane use of language. The argument that we've made today and in our motion to dismiss is that that, as applied, is unconstitutional because the words do not rise to the level of fighting words. They are protected First Amendment speech. As to Deputy Helmer's choice to leave the traffic stop, this just speaks to the fact that it was not an obstruction of justice. He chose to voluntarily end his traffic investigation to pursue what he perceived to be another violation of law. So there could not be an obstruction of justice where it was a choice voluntarily made by the officer. Again, Your Honor, I'd like to reiterate that the issue that we've raised today in the motion to dismiss is that this is a First Amendment violation as applied. We're not arguing that the Constitution as a whole is unconstitutional, but as it is applied to this instance, it is unconstitutional because it is attempting to punish protected speech.
All right, cited by the Ravalli County Sheriff on April 26th of 24 at 8:57 in the evening for allegedly, 9:57 in the evening, for allegedly violating Montana Code 45-8-101 disorderly conduct and 45-7-302 obstructing a peace officer. You appeared before me. We are currently on the trial calendar, I believe, for January 17th. Does that sound right to everybody?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, make sure I have the right date.
Judge, this is probably just a slow, paperwork slowdown in our office, but I filed to submit this case, in the past day or so. You just probably haven't received the motion from us yet.
Submitted for what?
That the case be dismissed.
Were you aware of that?
I have not seen an order yet.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything. come
That's
across.
what, I told my paralegal, I gave her the case, but she has a stack, so it's probably in her basket, but just didn't wanna hold us up here.
Okay, can you have it filed by Friday?
Yes, Judge. Easily.
All right, Mr. Fulton, it appears that the state has chosen to dismiss this case against you. I did rule against you after that hearing. I suggest you maybe look at the law a little closer about rights and consider that if somebody did something and distracted a law enforcement officer and they were trying to help your family, that it could be really detrimental. So just think about that. If you don't like them or whatever the gig was with law enforcement, just try to consider the whole situation, that if they were in the process of helping your family member that needed something, or your family member had just had a problem and law enforcement was trying to investigate that could be a distraction that could hurt someone or cause a problem. And it would be a real travesty if it happened to be your family. I like to refer to things like this of an ambulance is coming down the road and people won't pull over because they don't think they need to, and it's not a big deal unless it's your dad having a heart attack in the back of that ambulance, okay? So I don't know what the hangup is or why you're unhappy with law enforcement, but hopefully you can get that resolved so we don't see this, and I hope you understand that those law enforcement officers don't make enough money to be a distraction to people, or they're just out trying to do their jobs, okay? You can probably be a bigger help than hindrance, okay? Signatures on that, and just stay in touch with Miss Berry to make sure that gets filed, that nothing else has changed until she has that dismissal in hand.
Yeah.
Okay? Alright, is that all you have, Sarah?
It is, Your Honor.
Okay, you guys are good to go?
No, it's, oh yeah, that one got vacated. I'm like, wait. No,
I don't have a file
highlighted.
with your name on it, so you might have an issue.
Do you know there's 5 points of the First Amendment?
I know there's probably more than that. It just depends on the state.
No, there's 5
Because
points.
every state has its own amendments too.
Yeah,
correct?
but they can't overturn anything
No,
in the
they don't.
Constitution.
They don't, but they just add things to it, right?
5 points. I got freedom of speech and freedom of redress in my government, which is everybody's government, the government.
Okay.
And he's violating on both of those.
Okay.
And he got my license and information, which is a violation of my Fourth Amendment. And I'll let him know that too.
Well, if he's conducting an investigation, you are required to identify, so that's not a violation.
Not if I haven't violated the law. He has to have a lawful reason. He can't just pull anybody over and ask them for whatever he wants just because he wants to. He has to have a lawful reason, a law that I broke. And this trumped up, disorderly or whatever he's trying to say is bullshit because it's freedom of speech. It's literally the First Amendment. No.
No, it does.
The only situations you can't be is you can't yell out shit like fire or rape in a crowded room. But I can yell fuck the police any day of the week. The Supreme Court already ruled on it. Flipping the cops off, saying fuck the police, literally protected speech. It's literally in a song.
It being in the song has
NWA.
nothing to do with it being a free speech.
Yeah, it does. Because they tried to ban the record because of that. And it didn't work because of free speech.
NWA references are a little bit different than you doing it up front and in person, right?
No. Freedom of speech is freedom of speech. Just like I could say fuck you and flip you off right now. See? Is that disorderly conduct?
I don't think it is.
Because it's protected by the First Amendment.
It's not the way I perceive the law, so.
Well, you can't perceive the law whichever way you want. You have to follow the actual law. And the actual law says it's my First Amendment protected free speech.